Hey RC fans, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. Today is a big day for the channel and a big day for me. I've got an unboxing to do and it's an epic one. There it is on the table, the Arrma Outcast 8S BLX EXB V2 RTR, lots and lots of other little acronyms thrown at it. First thing is you never actually realise how big this thing is until you get it on the table where you've had all your 8th scale RCs sat quite happily. This thing is an absolute beast. So first of all, how mean does that look as far as an RC goes? That is one badass RC. It just oozes. Yeah, I'm angry. And to me, that's cool. Let's have a little look around the box. So what have we got? Let's have a little look around the box. So we've got a Spektrum DX3 transmitter as well. I've heard some good reviews about that they're pretty good. It's got AVC, which is Arrma's active vehicle control, aka a gyro. A huge 59 kg Spektrum servo, the S6510, 160 amp Spektrum firmer, waterproof ESC. This has been upgraded since the original V1 come out, and then this huge 5687 1100 kV brushless motor. So another thing that attracted me to this truck is the electronics that you get out of the box. It is an absolute beast. Gives you all your specs of just how big it is. So in case you're unsure, this thing is nearly 2 foot wide. What other parts have we got on the box? I love the EXB colorway. I think their EXB livery is probably one of the best on the market. Loads of steel and alloy parts on this. So we've got a 70/75 chassis. We've got some nice, huge front brace mounts, tower to tower mounts. We've got metal shafts and turnbuckles as well. On the inside, what you want from a truck this big, you want metal gearing, 100% metal gearing. And what's a bonus about that? You've even got spiral gears for your diffs too, which is always a plus. The last thing I want to be doing is replacing parts straight from the box. Wheelie bars standard, again, quite a big cool front bumper. They've upgraded the wheel and tyre combination, although they look very similar. You've got the 6S backflips there, which again, I've never had any issues with the 6S backflips. They've always been a go-to tyre for me. They've now upgraded them and now they call it the big block tyre set. So it's still a D-boot backflip, but it's the big block one. A few comparisons between 8S and 6S. So I mentioned a second ago about the spiral gearing. So the spiral gearing is new for the V2, and you compare the size to a 6S diff, it's almost 50% bigger, if not more than. Same with your shocks. So that's an example of a 6S shock. I'll put my teeth in. A 6S shock, if any of you have got any Arrma 6S rigs, that's the size of the shocks. And that's how big they are on their 8S EXBs. And what's even better is the fact that they've uprated the shock shafts to 6mm ones, which, having lifted this truck on the table, it's got some weight to it. So if you're jumping it, it needs to land. What else do we have on the box? Okay, so more examples of the vehicle. Again, EXB, this is the only colorway that they do. And why would you need to do anything different? All over the box, they've got QR codes, which takes you to the Arrma website, just so you can show a little bit more of information about the RC. Right, I'm gonna have to put the camera down because I'm gonna have to flip this box in a second. I'm just gonna have to limber up because she is heavy. Another few shots of this RC. So it tells you that it's got ultra thick composite front and rear shock towers. It has got massive steel turnbuckles with bigger, longer rod ends for added strength. Strong composite chassis side guards, which again is great. You don't want any side impacts to wreck your metal chassis. Multi-structured center brace system for maximum durability, aka it's full of triangular strength. Oil-filled adjustable shocks, always a good thing. Super durable wheel hubs for increased strength. Again, the weight of this RC, there's going to be putting a lot of stress on the suspension. Big block motor, so 5687 brushless motor. I will give you an exact comparison when we get into it. The 59 kg Spektrum S6510 servo, which again, it's a lot of truck, so you need a lot of servo to be able to turn them wheels. And then the ESC, so the Arrma 160 amp Smart V2 waterproof ESC. And there, bird's eye view, big block tyres, high downforce wing. I'm not sure how much downforce we're going to be needing, how fast it's going to go, but even if it's not fully functional, rear wings look cool. 200mm bore shocks with 6mm shock shafts and heavy duty rod ends. Like I said, you need that. This thing weighs quite a bit. Center protection tower integrates with roll cage for enhanced body durability. So a bit of rollover protection. Heavy duty dual spring servo saver. Perfect, a lot of truck. That servo is going to be going over a lot of stress if you land badly. And a 7075 T6 ESB aluminium anodized chassis with all that beautiful EXB livery all over it. Durable steel drive shafts throughout, heavy duty drivetrain, heavy duty front bumper. I can guarantee everything that I've just gone through on this side of the box is going to be tested, especially with my driving. Shall we have a look inside? Let's have a look. What have we got? This is the best bit. Oh, and I thought the box was big. Don't even have the wheels on yet. That's hub to hub width. That is epic. So, opening the box, first thing I think, huge. Not gonna lie, it is flipping huge. Every time you see one of these running, until you actually get up and close, you always forget how big they actually are. Right. I'm proper excited about this one. Jeez, the same size as my hand. Right, let's get everything out of the box, onto the table. There it is, all out the box, all unpacked. One thing's for sure, I probably need a new table, something slightly bigger. My 8th scale RCs usually fit on this, no problem whatsoever. But this is next level, boys and girls. So, what have you got in the back? The box, RC, obviously. The 4 D-boot backflip, big block wheels and tyres. And these things are monsters. Everything is just bigger, but you don't realise how big it is until you're staring at it. We've got our Spektrum DX3 transmitter. Again, I've heard good reviews that this is a pretty good out-the-box transmitter, so I will be using this RC for a little bit on this transmitter just to see what it does. Obligatory manuals. I've never had a brand new Arrma, so I've never had the privilege of having Arrma AAs in there. Technical pack. There we go. What have we got in the technical pack? So what's this? Okay, so exploded views. Ah, nice. So all the parts that you can possibly get for this RC, which is great. That's going to come in super handy. Stickers. Who doesn't like a sticker? That's for sure. And then the destruction manual. I've also heard that Arrmas have got a pretty good manual as well. So yeah, nice colour, multiple language, AVC, to give you all the shock fluids and things like that. Yeah, pinion gear mods. Ah, nice, it gives you all the fluids. So exactly what you would expect from a high-end brand like Arrma. Let's just get rid of this. I've got to talk a little and get rid of it, because I just do not have the room. And batteries go in there as well. What else we got? We've got our support card. Again, never ever seen one of these before because I've never owned a new Arrma or purchased a new Arrma, should I say. And it just gives you the quick assembly and that's it. And then what's on here? What is on it? Okay, cool. So we've got QR codes. So I would assume that'll take you to their website and you can get help on this particular truck. Again, that's so much cooler than having wads and wads of paper. I'm a firm believer in having some kind of sustainable support. I don't like printing a lot of paper if I can avoid it. That's just something about me. You know, I'm not a hippie, I'm not a tree hugger, but if you don't need to print paper, why print paper? What have we got here? High speed gearing. So 30 tooth. What is, yeah, 30 tooth speed pinion. That's always handy. I'm going to run it on stock gearing to start with and then get the grips of it because this thing is wild. A turnbuckle spanner. Again, what's that, about 8mm? Wow. Those turnbuckles are huge. So that's always handy to have a turnbuckle spanner. What's this? Mini circlip pliers. That's quite cool. Again, usually you got to supply your own circlip pliers, but the fact they've thrown it in the box, that's a really cool idea. Nothing small about this RC, is there? So huge Allen keys. Again, would that be for the pivot ball covers? Interesting. They're plastic or composite, should I say? But we'll see how that holds up. And then some nut wrenches as well. So shock pistons. So I guess you can tune your shocks up a little bit. Again, I'm starting everything on stock, and I will see what's going on with that. But if any of you have any ideas about which one of these shock pistons you prefer to run, please leave in the comments and let us know. And finally, I wanted to leave this till last. That is a monster of a wheel wrench. We've got 24mm wheel nuts. This is real car level. This is real car size now. We are in the big boy league. Or big person league. It's a modern world and all that. Oh, so that's what's in the box. I'm rather excited. I'm going to deep dive into this RC just that little bit more, and I'll see you in a sec. If you've liked this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and that'll bring you loads more content from Arrma RC. But if you don't want to take my word for it, tell them, Chewy. Now you've been told. Let's get up and close and a little bit personal with this RC. So first of all, what are we seeing? The flipping size of everything. It's the arms are huge, the hubs are huge, the turnbuckles are absolute monsters, 8mm. So what's that? That's about M8 an M8 turnbuckle, which is absolutely offensively big, but it is needed. The arms are huge, the wheelie bar, everything is just on a bigger level. Let's have another little look round. You know, even from the wheel hexes, 24mm wheel hexes, huge turnbuckles, everything is just oversized compared to what I'm used to. And this is epic. Oh, and one more thing I feel I really have to do. Let's have a look at that body. She's pretty. She is pretty. She is handsome. She is pretty. She is the belle of Belfast City. One thing I have noticed for the first time is where you've got your matte and gloss kind of colourway for a little bit of finish contrast. I hadn't realised that it's got all these EXB logos all through it to make up the glossy part, which I think is a neat little trick. Well done, Arrma. That is a nice little attention to detail. I love my Team Kagama LE livery. Could I like this more? Yes, I probably can. I'm a massive fan of old school US pickup trucks. And this thing is just epic. So what have we got? Original Arrma Motorworks. I like the fact that they've done it all out like a race truck as well. A little bit of sponsors. The red accents look really good. And then the massive rear wing with the EXB logo on it. Oh, that's cool. What else do we have on top? Got some composite roof skid protectors as well. Really nice. I like the fact that they've done button heads rather than countersunk screws, because I'm guessing that's designed for the screws to take the impact rather than your composite skid plates. Just gives you that extra bit of protection. And again, going along the back of the roll cage at the back as well, shores it all up. And actually there's even on the rear wing, it's got them as well. So Arrma have really thought about the weight of this truck and what damage this truck could do upside down sliding along composite parts. Very nice touch. Very nice touch. Well done, Arrma. Faster, tougher. Do you reckon they faster, tougher? Do you reckon they should have bigger, badder, heavier hernia? Who knows? Let's have a look. Big old body pins. Oh, that's cool as well. So I guess that'll be to stop the body pins from pulling through. That's a good idea. Wonder how difficult these are to actually get on and off when you're in a hurry. I know the likes of Traxxas and some of the smaller Arrma vehicles have gone to clipless systems. Between you and I quite like a body pin, because 9 times out of 10 a body pin is going to do exactly what a body pin should do. Yes, they're a bit fiddly, but you're not going to get them clogged up with dirt. You're not going to get, you know, certain things. You're always going to be able to get the body off pretty much, which is always a good thing. Oh, jeez. Jeez. They say everything's bigger in Texas, but everything's bigger on an AS RC. I'm lost for words. Honestly, lost for words. And if you watch any of my videos, that doesn't happen very often. Just the size of everything. Oh my God. So, what have we got? Let's start off with, oh, I don't know where to begin. So many things. Where do we begin? The motor is a monster. A Spektrum Firma 1100 kV 5687 motor. And I think that'll be a 50mm fan on it as well. Plenty of power. The thickness of the flipping cables. Oh my God. So again, 160 amp Spektrum Firma Smart ESC. I like the fact that they haven't put any colour. It's pretty much just red or black with some silver accents on it. So they've tied all the EXB livery in together, which I think is amazing. And a nice little touch. Servo. So there's our huge 59 kg servo, and that servo saver is a bit of a monster itself as well. Wow, that's pretty cool. A sight to behold, they might say. Battery trays. So again, I'll see what I feel about these clips here, but they look quite small in comparison to the rest of the RC. But again, it looks like, yes, you can open them up to put bigger batteries in, which again, nice one, Arrma. Everyone runs different size batteries. The shocks are large. That's probably the best way of saying it. Like everything else on this RC, the shocks are absolute monsters, and I do hope they provide some good damping power. Once I get the wheels on, I'll have a little look proper. Is it a 24 tooth pinion from stock? But again, that looks pretty monstrous. I like the anodized red that they've got kind of dotted all over this RC. It just makes it all look pretty and just breaks up the black and silver. So we've got a 70-75 motor mount and center differential, 70-75 tower to tower shock braces, 70-75 tower to center brace, sorry, not center brace, motor mount braces as well. These are adjustable, looks like. Does that mean you can, yeah, so you can add tension if you want to for your RC. Composite arms, composite hubs, big 24mm wheel nuts, like I keep mentioning, only because I'm quite taken aback by them. Huge 70-75 chassis. I'll flip it over in a minute and we can have a look. Even got a QR code on the chassis to help you out. How cool is that? They've thought about this. They've really thought about this, and you would that's what you'd expect on a truck of this quality. Composite gearboxes, again, that's always a taboo subject. Some people like to put their aluminium ones on, others like to stick with composite. Again, I've got no comparison. I've only ever ran composite Arrma gearboxes. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, huge bumper spring, almost like a knuckle duster. Pivot balls are huge. That's the point. One thing I was going to look at is what I think is interesting is the fact that they've gone for a composite pivot ball cover when a lot of the 6S range is alloy. Have they done that for a reason, or is it just a weight save, or what? But we'll see how that holds up. So composite shock towers, again, they are about 15mm thick, so they're not going to break anytime soon. Huge wheelie bar with, yeah, it's got bearings in as well, which is good. What else do we have? Nice thick drive shafts too. Outdrive cups are quite big. I keep saying the word big, but it's because that's probably the only word I can associate with them, because everything is just that little bit larger. So we've also got 70-75 hinge pin holders. It looks like A, B, C and D blocks as well. So far so good. The only little surprise that I wasn't expecting was the composite pivot ball holders. Let's flip it over and have a look at the underside. What can I say about this chassis? It is thick. How thick is it? It looks about 6mm thick. I have to get my Ernie calipers on it, but that looks about 6mm thick. One other thing that's epic, you don't really see anything smaller than a 2.5, which for me is heaven. Got some big screws. What are they? They look like 3mm maybe. I'll have to have a look. But yeah, the chassis is cool. Standard EXB livery on it. I've also just realised that the Don't Just Bash Blast logo is full of Arrma logos, which again, attention to detail, and I'm all about the little details. Extreme Bash 70-75 aluminium. If you can read this, just send it. Nice touch. Nice touch. But again, practically, are you really going to see that when it's flying? You're going to be getting out of its way. But even from the bottom, the arms just look solid. Everything just looks robust. Front and rear bash guards integrated into the bumper. They look like they've got some good meat on it as well. One thing I was toying with putting on is the M2C rear chassis brace. Whack in the comments if you think that's a good idea or not. Those have done it, those haven't done it. Just let us know. Any issues with the bending, I don't want this chassis to bend if I can avoid it. So if there's an upgrade that I can do straight away to try and protect if the vehicle has a heavy impact on the back, I'm going to do that. The shocks look even bigger upside down. The springs are, well, quite firm, but oh, I'm proper swooning over this one. I am really swooning over this one. Do you know what I need to do? I need to get some wheels on it. Still can't get over the size of the shocks. Those huge 6mm piston shocks. Massive 8mm turnbuckles as well. You know, they're not snapping anytime soon. But I say that, this is a flipping heavy old truck. Really. And the D-boot backflip, big blocks, nice grippy compound. Generally, absolute I still can't get over the size of it. I cannot wait to run this RC. Again, please feel free to leave a comment. Let us know what you've done to your Outcast 8S, and likewise, what do you think I should do to this one? Whack in the comments. All I know is I can't wait to get this all set up. I am going to tune the diffs. I'm going to double check there's oil, check every nut, bolt, screw, any leaking shocks from the box, and generally give this truck the once over before I take it out for its maiden voyage. Jesus, this thing's huge. It is an impressive looking RC. I know Arrma tell you exactly how much these things weigh, but let's work out exactly how much it weighs. We got the old luggage scales, and we're going to just chuck it on to see if the information they give you is accurate. I just thought the easiest way to weigh it is with luggage scales. So we're going to do it in kilograms. Just so you know, if you see people carrying an Arrma Outcast 8S and they're huffing and puffing, that's because it weighs best part of 12 kilograms. She's a big old beast. Let's see what this Spektrum DX3 controller is all about. Be fair, feels nice and sturdy, which is always a good thing. I always find a good transmitter has to feel nice in your hand because it connects you with your RC. So if you're not comfortable with your transmitter, you might necessarily struggle to get the most out of your RC or the best possible experience. This one, nice, feels in the hand. You got single hand steering should you wish. Generally, I'll probably cack myself a little bit if I had to single hand steer this beastie because I'll end up going through someone's house. Power button, we've got a throttle limit, so if you're giving it to a small child, again, I probably wouldn't recommend giving this RC to a small child or a Martin Price. Anywho, we've also got our throttle, neutral or reverse, same with steering. You can actually put a telemetry module in so you can get feedback from the battery, which will show up on top of the controller here on the light just to the left. We've also got our AVC or active vehicle control. Basically, it's your gyro. So you can turn that up and down on this little dial here. Same with your brake rate. Next one up, you can just turn that dial down if you've got a bit too much braking and you're finding that the car wants to do a front flip as soon as you leave the ground. Steering trim and throttle trim, generally a standard feature on most transmitters these days, and then a nice simple bind button there too, and then a two-way switch here too. The foam feels nice, decent tension on the throttle as well, and this thing runs on 4 AAAs. AAAs? Double A's. The ones that Arrma give you, just stick them in, you'll be all good with those. On the top, you can also put a Bluetooth module, again, which can connect you to other features of the RC, such as ESC control. But other than that, I'm going to leave it on this one for a bit, see how I get on with it, and then maybe I'll change the handset, but I'm in no rush to change it. Well, that's this big beastie all unboxed. So all I need to do now, give it the once over, make sure I check the screws, check my diffs, because we don't want any accidents like we did with the Traxxas Max now, do we? Especially in something this big. This could do some serious damage. So what's next for the Arrma Outcast 8S? Well, I'm going to do the quick setup video, and then after that one, I'm going to give it its first run. All joking aside, if it was up to me, I'll take it out for its first run right now. But this RC, I treat it with a bit of respect, and I'm going to do it properly. So now, on Arrma RC, you get to look forward to Outcast 8S bashing. Scary stuff. Anyway, dudes, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Every like, share and subscribe, and everyone that takes the time to leave a comment. I'll make sure I do my best to get back to each and every one of you. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, especially if you want to see more content on this epic, badass RC. Other than that, all it leaves for me to say is, I've been Grum from Arrma RC. I'll catch you in the next one. Keep on bashing.